Some sounds are easy to explain. A creaking floorboard, a settling house, a gust of wind against the window. But what if the sound you hear isn't random? What if it's someone listening? This is the story of Emily Carter, a college student who moved into a new apartment only to discover she wasn't alone. Emily had just signed the lease on a small, cheap apartment near campus. It wasn't perfect, thin walls, outdated fixtures, but it was hers. The landlord mentioned the place had been vacant for a while, but Emily didn't care. It was quiet, peaceful, or so she thought. The first night, she heard it. A faint, scratching sound coming from the vents. At first, she thought it was just the building settling, or maybe mice in the walls. But as the nights passed, the noises became rhythmic. A slow, deliberate scratching, always at the same time. 3:12 a.m. She told herself it was nothing. She bought earplugs. But one night, curiosity got the best of her. She climbed onto a chair, pulled the cover off the vent, and shined her phone's flashlight inside. Nothing. She sighed, shaking her head at her paranoia, until she noticed something. A small, folded piece of paper shoved deep inside the vent. Her fingers trembled as she pulled it out and unfolded it. In messy, jagged handwriting, it read, "I see you." Her stomach dropped. She stared at the words, heart hammering, before forcing herself to laugh. It had to be a joke, maybe left by a past tenant, but something felt wrong. Next night, the scratching changed. Instead of slow, random scratches, it sounded like tapping, tap, tap, tap. Emily lay frozen in bed. The sound wasn't coming from the vent anymore. It was coming from inside her closet. Her breath caught in her throat. Slowly, she reached for her phone, turning on the flashlight. The closet door stood slightly ajar, a crack of darkness, too deep, too empty. She swallowed hard and whispered, "Hello." Silence, then a breath. Not hers. She leaped out of bed, grabbed her keys, and ran. The next morning, she called the landlord. He seemed annoyed, but agreed to come check. Together, they opened the vent, shining a flashlight deep inside. What they found made Emily's blood run cold. A small, makeshift bed, old, rotting food wrappers, and dozens of tiny holes drilled into the vent cover facing her bed. The landlord paled. That wasn't here before." Emily stepped back, hands shaking. "Someone was living in there?" The police were called. They searched the building. In the basement, behind a locked maintenance door, they found him. A man. Thin, pale, with wild, unblinking eyes. They found more notes, scattered around the room. Some were simple. "She's pretty. She sleeps on her left side." But the last one sent ice through Emily's veins. "I almost touched her last night." Her stomach churned. How many nights had he been watching her? How close had he come? When the police took him away, he didn't fight. He didn't speak. He just stared at Emily, grinning. His teeth were too white, too straight, like he had never stopped smiling. She moved out that day, but she never slept soundly again, because sometimes the thing watching you isn't a ghost. It's something much worse. Do you believe in real-life horror stories? Have you ever experienced something eerie? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more chilling tales. Turn on the notification bell so you never miss a scare.